Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from the Fairgrounds Racecourse here on Saturday. It is the 20th of January 2024. Gonna look at the stakes action from the Fairgrounds, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it, around the world. Some good racing next weekend with the Pegasus from Goldstream. I hope you check out that preview. It's going to be an excellent card there. But road to the Kentucky Derby stops through New Orleans this week with the Lecomte today. So we're going to look at the Lecomte and all the other stakes races. Races 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So quite a few races to look at. Let's get to the fourth race now from the Fairgrounds, which is the Duncan Kenner Stakes. It's going for a purse of $100,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. A field of 7 horses going to the Stall Wilson Turf Course. The distance of ground of 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on the Stall Wilson Turf Course. The portable rails are down, so they'll be running at the zero rail setting. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 3-horse Sousa Summer. 3, 4, 5, 1 for me in the superfecta. 3, 4, 5, 1 super. Top selection 3-horse Sousa Summer. This 5-year-old horse by Summerfront. Bill Montrains. Luis Saez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing game, the Schaefer Memorial here at the Fairgrounds. 5.5 on the 23rd December. First start since the early fall. He finished second by a length that day. And he sat back early. He was a little bit wide. The veteran just had a very terrific race in the front end. Came back with a nice 95 buyer. But this horse, off the bench, he didn't run half bad. Refreshing here with a better post draw today. I think he could get the trip to win second off the bench. 2 back, he ran the 22nd of September at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs out of turf course, an optional 80 claimer, and he finished 6 by 6.25 lengths. It was a small field that day. He sat back early. He just never really got the good turn of foot. Keep in mind, 1, 2, and another horse out of that race were next star winners, so it was a good quality group of horses. He just wasn't keeping up there at Aqueduct. And then 24th of August at Saratoga, 5.5 in the melon, off 6.2 claimer. He won by a neck that day. He sat back early, a little bit wide, but he had the turn of foot to win that day. He got there in nick of time. A great ride by Gaffleone. And then late July to Saratoga, 5.5 on the melon allowance race. He won by a half length. He loves the 5.5 trip because he gets good paces to close up into, and he got the job done going away. Back to the Fairgrounds. I think the proper trip that he's been crying out for, I'm going to use him on the ticket. I think the 4-horse Evan Singh for Al Stahl and Corey Lannery could get the trip to win. Hasn't won since the Colonel Power on this turf course last season, going 5.5, the very narrow turf course where he won by 3/4 length. He had a wide trip that day, but he got the job done. I like how in the racing for in 10 path, they were running, the portable rail was out in the 10 path, so he was really in like the 20 path, but he really had a nice race that day to win. Came back to run the Twin Spires Turf Sprint at Churchill Derby weekend, where he finished 8th by 4.25 lengths that day, and he really just never really got going there. And then came back to run a launch race in the fall at Keeneland, going 5.5, where he finished 5th by 3/4 length. It didn't break so well to probably cost him. It was an all-out finish. He just couldn't get there, but he didn't run half bad, but he has to get out of the gate. And then last month in that 5.5 shave from Memorial, he didn't get out of the gate so clearly, a little bit wide, and he probably needed the race. He is getting blinkers on today, which should concentrate him. He does like this turf course. He's 3 for 2 on it. The only loss came last time out. And 9 to 2. Let's use him in the early pick 5. But to recount my selection for the 4th from the Fairgrounds, it's the Duncan Kenner. Gonna take the 3-horse Sousa Summer. Give kudos to the 4-horse Evan Singh. 3, 4, 5, 1 super. 3, 4 in the multi-race. So we're gonna scroll over to race number 9 now from the Fairgrounds, which is the Mary G. Krantz Memorial. It's going for a purse of $100,000. Race fillies, mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going 1,700 meters or a mile 16th on the Stall Wilson Turf Course. As a top selection here, we're gonna go take the 5-horse Creative Cairo. I'm gonna go 5, 9, 1, 4 in the superfecta. 5, 9, 1, 4 super. Top selection 5-horse Creative Cairo. This 6-year-old mare by Cairo Prince. Lindsay Schultz trains. Florent Giroux gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing game, 23rd December at the Fairgrounds, mile 16th in the Blushing Kenner Stakes, blah, blah, blah. He finished second by a head that day. And he sat back early. Very wide trip, which is not ideal here. You need to be a little bit closer to the pace. He was closing up well late. He just missed Lovely Princess, got the jump on this one, who's running back in this one today, but she ran her heart out that day, closing up from nowhere. A little bit of a better post draw, back to this turf course. I'll give her a shot to win. She ran here opening weekend, going a mile 16th and optional 50, where she finished 4th by 4.25 lengths that day. Again, a little bit wide, but she was gaining that day. Not as good as the race afterwards, but she got down the race course well there. And then Keelan going a mile and a half in a lounge race in mid-October. She finished second by 2 3/4 lengths that day. And, our Callie Kim's a decent horse who won that day and was a next start winner. Sand and Sea was his third place finish, was actually a decent horse, next start winner. This horse, I don't know if she was staying the mile and a half that day. She just kind of yielded late. And the all along at Pimlico over the mile and the eighth. She finished third by 9 1/4 lengths that day. She was very wide, which she just never really was comfortable that day. But refreshing here. She has hidden form. Her form's been getting better, I think, recently. I'm going to give her a shot on the ticket. I think the 9-horse Tufani for Mike Stidham and Ben Curtis can win. Most recently, the Pago Hop here in late December over the Battle Mile trip. She won by 2 lengths that day, and she sat back early. Again, a little bit wide, but she was closing up well late. First time Lasix. Very good run. Getting Lasix back on today. The opening weekend here going mile 16th and optional 50. She won by 2 1/4 lengths that day. And horrible beginning, but she settled well after that. And then she circled the field, going away with it with some little bit class relief. A good run there. She ran around the Virginia Oaks before that over the mile and eighth at Colonial, where she finished 6th by 5 1/4 lengths that day, and she just never was really comfortable. She never got the good trip there. And the Brook made at Colonial over the mile 16. She finished second by 3/4 lengths. She set the pace. She got caught late, but she had a decent run around the race course. It's a little versatile, so she could set the pace. She come from behind. She's gonna have to overcome wide poster here today, but I'm gonna give this horse a shot on the ticket. Ben Curtis has been having, for his first meet here stateside, he's having an incredible winter. I wonder if he's going to stay here after the fairgrounds meeting or go back to ride in the UK over their flat in late March. We'll have to wait and see. But the way he's riding, he should get business after this fairgrounds meeting. But to recap my selection for the 9th in the fairgrounds, the Mary G. Krantz Memorial, going to take the 5-horse Cairo Prince, give kudos to the 9-horse Tefani, 5-9-1-4 Super, 5-9 in the multi-race. The 10th race from the fairgrounds, it is the Silverbulletday Stakes. It's going for a purse of $150,000, race for 3-year-old fillies. Field of 8 horses going 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track. So every time I think about Silverbulletday, I always think about the, what was it, 1999 Breeders' Cup Distaff, where she lost to, was it Spain? No, I can't remember. Banshee Breeze, maybe? I can't remember that Gulfstream Breeders' Cup Distaff where they bet this horse into the ground and she lost. But that's what I think of when I think of Silverbulletday. Or was it the Juvenile Fillies? I can't remember now. I was like, young. I can't. It's been a little while. But my top selection here, I'm gonna go with the 1-horse Perfect Shot. I'm gonna go 1-6-8-5 in the superfecta. 1-6-8-5 super. Top selection of 1-horse Perfect Shot. This 3-year-old filly by Gun Runner. Steve Asmussen trains. Joel Rosario comes in from the west to ride. Horse's most recent outing came 25th of November, actually my birthday at the fair at Churchill, mile 16th in main special at 125,000. He won by 3 1/4 lengths that day. And he had a dream trip around the race course. He stalked all the way around. When he got the turn of foot, he took off clear. Came back with the 73 buyer. First time around 2 turns. Not a bad race. Has been training quite well locally. It should go up a lot with this trip. Not the world's deepest Silverbulletday. I think she'd get the trip to win. These fairgrounds 2-year-old races, 3-year-old races, shall I say, going into the Derby prep races. They have always, going into the summer, these horses coming out of these races always run good races. So you just keep an eye on some of these horses, especially later on the Lecomte, I think. But 2 back, this Perfect Shot ran on the 29th of October at Churchill on the Slop, 1 mile in the main special at 122,000. He finished second by 2 3/4 lengths that day. Just was very wide, just was not getting the turn of foot. Maybe the back got to her from a tracking trip. He just couldn't get there, but she ran okay there. And then on debut, going 7 at Churchill in the main special weight, she finished 4th by 6 1/4 lengths that day. Didn't get the best beginnings, was wide. And she just kind of flattened out. 7 furlongs, probably just too short. I think a mile 16th, mile 8th, probably going to be her preferred trip. Mile 70, close enough to a mile 16th. I think she could get the trip to win at 4-1. I think the 6-horse here, West Omaha, for Luis Saez and Brad Cox, could get a trip to win. Most recently in a Tampable, right before Christmas here at Fairgrounds over the mile 70. She finished second by 2 lengths that day. She was very wide that day. She was closing up well late. I thought she won more ground, but first started around 2 turns. Not a bad effort there. Prior to the main special weight early in November at Churchill going 7-8, she won by 4 lengths and on the front and all throughout, seeing some good fractions. Another very good run there. And And then mid-September at Churchill, going 7 furlongs in the main special weight, she finished third by 3/4 length. She was a little bit wide, but she was closing up well late. But keep in mind, they did disqualify the winner for interference, so they did place a horse second. It was still a very good run. She's training quite well at Oaklawn in here at the fairgrounds since the last race. Second time around 2 turns. I'll give her a shot here at 2-1. She looks like she could be real deal. But to recount my selection for the 10th from the fairgrounds, it is the Silver Bullet Day. Going to take the 1 horse Perfect Shot. Give kudos to the 6 horse West Omaha. 1685 Super. 1-6 in the multi race. The 11th race now from the fairgrounds. It is the Colonel R. Bradley Stakes. It's going for a purse of $100,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 9 horses, going 1,700 meters, or a mile 16th here in the Colonel R. Bradley. I'm going to take as a top selection the number 8 horse, Rising Empire. I'm going to go 8269 in the superfecta. 8269 Super, top selection 8 horse, Rising Empire, the 6-year-old horse by Empire Maker. Brendan Walsh trains. Luis Saez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 23rd December at the fairgrounds, mile 16th in the Berto Memorial, and the horse finished 9th by 7 1/4 lengths that day, and he just had nothing. He was flat like a pancake late. May he rest in peace. 2 Emmys, really ran a terrific race, but this horse just didn't get going. Getting Luis Saez up today. Hopefully getting a little bit more forwardly paced. That's where he does his better running style, I've noticed. Back to the turf course here. I'm going to give him another shot on the ticket. 2 back in optional 80th Fairgrounds, 1 mile and 30th of November. He ran terrifically. He won by 2 lengths on the front end. And on the front end all throughout, he just went away with it. That was a very good 95 buyer run. First started off the bench. Prior to that, mid-July at Ellis on the soft, going a mile and 8th and option 62. He finished third by 6 1/4 lengths that day. And he was just wide and just never really got going. The winter background had the jump on him. And then the dinner party at Pimlico over the mile and the 8th. He finished 7th by 8 1/4 lengths that day. He stalked, but then just completely crumbled that day. Definitely there he was facing tough horses. And then they ran Elkhorn over the mile and a half of Keelan, where he was just out tripped that day. Finished 7 by 7 lengths, weakened out of it. Not a mile and a half horse, probably a mile and the 8th, mile 16th is what he wants to do. He's back to it today. He ran the Munez Memorial last year where he finished 2nd by a half a length and nearly stole it on the front end. Spooky Channel got to him, but he ran his heart out that day and then won over the mile and 8th here in mid-February quite nicely. Refreshing here, training well. I'm going to give him a shot here on the ticket. I think also the number 2 horse here, Strong Quality for Florent Giroux and Mark Cassidy could get a trip to win. Most recently, Tints on the Mud, going a mile and 8th at Oaklawn. He finished third by 2 1/4 lengths. He just kind of hit the wall late. He doesn't have the turn of foot like he does on turf, on dirt, so I think coming back to the green stuff is what he wants to do. They tried getting on the green stuff at Churchill mid-November, going a mile 16th and up to 100. They tried getting him, but he didn't get on. He got on the dirt, but he still won. He won by 9 1/4 lengths, and he had everything his own way in the front end. A very good run there. And then the Tappet at Colonia at Kentucky Downs over the mile 70. He finished 4th by 4 1/4 lengths that day and just kind of crumbled that day. He was flying on the front end. I don't know how much I trust the fractions, but they were still going very fast, and he just wasn't keeping up there. And the Arlington Million, he finished 7 by 7 1/4 lengths. Set piece caught him. He just kind of hit the wall after setting the pace there. But coming here, this turf course can play towards speed when the rails are down. I'm going to give him a shot here on the ticket. His form's been getting better as of recently. But to recount my selection for the 11th now from the fairgrounds, it's the Colonel R. Bradley. Going to take here the number 8 horse Rising Empire. Give kudos to the 2 horse Strong Quality. 8269 Super. 82 in the multi race. The 12th race, a very good 12th race, I think, today from the fairgrounds. It is the Louisiana Stakes. It's going for a purse of. It's a grade 3 event going for a purse of $175,000. Race 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 7 horses going 1,700 meters, or a mile 16th here in the Louisiana Stakes. Road to the New Orleans Classic or Handicap. Next race, I guess, is the Mine Shaft next month, and then you have the New Orleans Classic, which is always a good race. It's been kind of better, I think, as of recently. But my top selection here, I love the 3 horse Saudi Crown. I'm going to go 3-5-2-1 in the superfecta. 3-5-2-1 Super, top selection 3 horse Saudi Crown. 4 caught by Oli's Dreaming. Brad Cox trains. Florent Giroux gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the Brews Cup Classic at Santonia, mile 1/4 4th in November, and he finished 10th by 12 3/4 lengths there. And he just completely, he was with him early on, but then just kind of hit the wall late. Maybe just asking a little bit too much too soon. Second time older horses in that very spot. Back to a mile and the 16th, which I think is going to be his preferred trip. He can get everything his own way in the small field. I'm going to give him another shot to find the winner's circle. He's not nearly facing as tough horses as he's done in his last few. Two back in the Pennsylvania Derby on the soppy going at Parks, Mile Nathan mid-September. He won by a half length that day, and on the front and all throughout, he held on to it. He gamed it out to the wire. Very good, strong performance with a 105 buyer, and then the Jim Dandy at Saratoga over the Mile Nathan on a very sloppy course. He finished second by nose. Forte, caught him that day. He was drifting in and out in the stretch. He was a little, getting leg weary, it looked like, but he ran his heart out that day. And then I thought probably one of the best stretch runs I saw at Belmont in person this past summer. 1 mile of the Dwyer in early July. He finished second by a nose. They were flying on the front end, him and Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg caught him in the nick of the wire, but they battled in the final furlong. That was a very good performance by both of them. He earned a 106 career best buyer in defeat, but that was a game performance. And then mid-May at Churchill going 6.5 in the Lowndes race. He won by 1 3/4 lengths that day. Only time the other time he faced older horses, he basically won on the front in a very good race. He's training well. He should definitely suit better with the mile 16th here today. I'm going to give him another shot. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the stepping stone probably for the Saudi Cup coming in about 5-6 weeks for him. So, if he wins here today, probably see him in Saudi in a few weeks. I'll use him on the ticket. If there could be a small upsetter, the 5-horse 5-star General. He won the Tenacious here right before Christmas, quite nicely, can't speak. Christmas. And, he won that Tenacious easily by 3 lengths on the front end. Came back prior to that in the Delta Mile, where he finished third by 3 1/4 lengths. He had a very wide trip there. And the Lucas Classic, he completely crumbled. But he won Louis in the Longacres Mile at Emerald quite nicely over the summer. He has a hidden race that can win here. He likes his track. I'll give him a shot at 6-1 to possibly upset, but Saudi Crown is the fastest horse probably on the card today, I think. But can he stay off the bench here? We'll see. But to recap my selection for the 12th in the Fairgrounds, it's the Louisiana Stakes. Going to take the 3-horse Saudi Crown. Give kudos to the 5-horse 5-star General. 3-5-2-1 Super. 3-5 in the multi-race. The 13th and final race, the finale on the program at the Fairgrounds, it's the Lecomte Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a $200,000 purse race for 3-year-olds here. 8 horses are going 1,700 meters or a mile 16th here in the Lecomte. I'm going to take the 5-horse Ethan Energy as a top selection. 5-4-2-7 in the superfecta. 5-4-2-7 super. Top selection of 5-horse Ethan Energy. 3-year-old Colt Bankelmo. Brad Cox trains. Luis Saez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 23rd December here at the Fairgrounds. Mile 16th in main special weight 55,000. And he won by 5 1/4 lengths that day. He had Lasix on for the first time, and he sat back early. It was a little bit wide, but when he had to turn a foot, he took off clear. That was a very good performance. Back around 2 turns here today. Stakes quality horses. I think his buyer's up to scratch with some of these horses that's been running in stakes competition. I think he could get the trip to win. On debut, he ran mid-October at Keelan going 6.5 in a main special weight, where he finished 6 by 9 lengths, and he lost all chance getting out of the gate because he didn't break. He moved a little bit late, but he just needs to get out of the gate. He's training quite nicely locally since the last race. Brad Cox has good numbers, second off the bench, and last start winners returning. I'm going to give him a shot here at 4-1 on the ticket. I think he could be real deal. I think the 4-horse Kangaroo for Jareth Loveberry and Mark Hasse could get a trip to win. Cutting back to the dirt should really suit this horse. Most recently, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf at Santinido over the mile. He finished 4th by 2 lengths that day. He didn't get so out of the gate so clearly. He wanted to go. Flavian had a snug hold on him. He was wide late, but he was closing up well late. He outran his 18-1 odds that day. Not a bad race there. Prior to that, the Bourbon at Keelan over the mile 16th. He won by a nose that day, and again, he sat back early, last most race, stupid turn of foot, and he timed the race perfectly. Francisco Arrieta, great ride by him that day, and then the main special weight, Kentucky Downs over the 7 in early September. He won by 2 1/4 lengths that day. Again, a little bit of a wide trip, but he got there in nick of time. His 2 dirt races at Ellis, I thought they were over shorter trips, but he's running decently. On debut, going 5 on the slop at the end of June, he finished 3rd by 4 1/4 lengths, and I thought he wanted more of a trip that day, but he got down the race course well, and he was traveling decently. Came back to run 7 at Ellis in mid-July, where he finished 3rd by 15.5 lengths that day. And again, he was a little bit wide. The winner was Timberlake, a decent horse, and West Saratoga, a decent horse. This horse, behind the decent horse, got down the race course well. I'm going to give him a shot here, back to dirt, 6-1 in this race. Even the 2-horse Nash for Brad Cox from Florangeau finished 3rd in the Gun Runner a few weeks ago, where he just kind of hit the wall late. That was a little bit, he just was a little bit flat that day. Maybe a tough race before him, he needed the race. He won the race before that by a dozen at Churchill, going mile 16th. And, I'll give him another shot here, but at 5-2, it's a little bit too low for me. But he does have a great pedigree with Nally Dor with Sarah Louise on the dam side. But he should have did a little bit better last time out. That was just a very horrible trip. Also very wide. I think he does benefit with an inside post draw. But it's a good Lecomte this year. It's a good betting race. So to recap my selection for the 13th and finale from the Fairgrounds, the nightcap, it is the Grade 3 Lecomte. Going to take the 5-horse Ethan Energy. Give kudos to the 4-horse Ken Group and the 2-horse Nash. 5-4-2-7 Super. 5-4-2 in the multi-race. So good luck to all. Remember to join me next Saturday for my Pegasus preview, and follow me on X at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Good luck, everybody.